Okay, so this is the graph of the first derivative and it has the same values as the others. So one thing that I would notice is that let's start at the beginning, from negative infinity to b, then we would say f prime of x is positive. All right, so if you actually go back to your previous graph from negative infinity to b, your original graph f of x was increasing. At x equals b, I know that f prime of x changes from positive to negative, from above to below. All right. If we go back to what was happening on the previous graph on f of x, this was a relative max. From b to d, let's look at this. From b to d, my f prime of x is negative. And if you flip back on the previous slide at the original function, you'll see that f of x was decreasing. At x equals d, my f prime is changing again, but this time my f prime of x changes from negative to positive, which is a relative min. So this one goes with a min, and that is the justification for a min. Okay, from d to infinity, we know that my f prime of x is positive again. And I'm writing is positive, but you could also write f prime of x greater than 0. It's the same exact thing. All right, so I'm going to erase all of this. All right, from negative infinity to c. So that's all of this. If I look at that, that is when f prime of x is decreasing. If I look back at f of x from negative infinity to c, that is when f of x is concave down. So an original function that is concave down matches with when the first derivative is decreasing. From c to infinity, my f prime of x is increasing. And if you look at the original function, that is when the original function was concave up. So we are changing concavity on the original function. So x equals c is actually a point of inflection on the original function. And on this graph, it would be f prime of x changes from decreasing to increasing. And that's how I would know there would be a point of inflection on the original. If my first derivative changed from increasing to decreasing, or increasing to decreasing, you can go either way. But looking at the graph of the first derivative, I know that this is a max on the original. F prime changes from positive to negative. This is a min on the original. F prime changes from negative to positive. And this is a point of inflection on the original. F prime of x changes from decreasing to increasing.